telly, and well, they know how to do it. They can set themselves at a pace where they know they'll be within
Speed shear
1 or 2
coming up
sheep.
after the blade shear.
That, I reckon.
The senior
it's bloody
speed
hard
shear
work, though,
first.
I mean, they're running a marathon
24
every day.
contestants.
My main message
24
to
on the
farmers
open
would be
speed shear
good
to follow.
toilets, good facilities, maintenance, keeping the maintenance up
$500
for
up
everybody.
for grabs in the
that
first of
includes
the
like
senior.
catching pen gates
And
and
800
holes
in
and
the first
walls
of the
and
open.
springs on
Nice
doors.
little cherry at
It's
the
just
end
common sense stuff.
with instant prize
that's all
givings.
shearers want.
When I was still shearing, I walked into a shed one night about 9 o'clock down in Hunterville, and the place was just
We've got a little bit of
gleaming.
action down in
And it
the
was
pressing
polished.
arena too, Gerald.
Everything
Just
was
give us a bit of an ups
gleaming
on
in
that,
the
mate.
shed. It was the first time I'd been there, and I thought to myself,
Thanks very much, John.
Got to do a good job
this is
here,
going to be the
mate.
juniors. So we're having one
business. It's all about the people.
junior
If we don't have
child
good
at each
people,
station.
well-trained,
So
with
can
good
we have
facilities, good resources, and
Ariana
clean
Abraham
operating going
from
forward,
Fern
put
Ridge
stress on
School,
them. All of a sudden they might get injured or
Rimini
something might go
from
wrong there.
Chikava,
Then I'm left high and dry because I don't have people
Papa
running our
School,
business.
Blake McGregor from Gladstone School,
In relation to
T. Romana,
performance and
Rimini from
start with your
Chikava,
sleep.
Carl
Okay?
Papa
Address your
School,
sleep,
and
because without
Paige
sleep, you
McGregor
will not
from
perform properly.
Gladstone. If you want to shoot
Second
down
to
here
that,
and grab one of your
nutrition.
stations, kids,
Okay,
have you
so
heard
just
your
making sure
name?
that within your nutrition, your hydration is
Now,
adequate.
to-
and
have
also
a
in
wee
terms of
yarn to
eating, making sure that you're
what we
peaking
call you,
performance,
the
so
marshals, the
fuel that you're
judges.
putting
The
in your body,
judges
you
sounds a
can't
wee
do
bit serious,
Ferrari on
doesn't it?
diesel.
What's
Okay,
a
so
word for
if you want to
yourself?
perform at the highest level like these guys are, then you know there's an element of that needs to come into it.
You've got to learn your limits.
Yeah, that's a good word, judges.
gotta learn
We'll
that
call
you
them
need a certain
judges.
amount of
Have a
time
yarn
in
to your
bed
judges what
if
your
you're
job
gonna
is, young
work long
fella.
hours the next day.
What's your name,
You
bud?
look after yourself. You eat well.
Oh, you're a
and
Titan.
you make sure that you
Did I get that
replace
last
what you
pronunciation
lose
right to
for
that school?
dehydration. You've got to rehydrate well.
What is it? T.
My message about
Tikuva
training and fitness is
Papa.
take a little
Is
bit
that-
more time
did we get
to,
that right,
to
mate?
care for your body. You know, just do a simple few exercises a day.
Kua.
You know, it's going to take 5 minutes out of your
Oh,
day
kura.
to do a little bit of strength work.
That
5
boy
minutes
from
at the
the
end of the
deep
day
south,
to do
he
some
can struggle
stretching
with
out,
some of
and
these long
the
words.
benefits you'll reap from it will be years and years
Getting
down
better
the road.
though.
When
My
we're
children
striving
are
to do
teaching
well
me
in the
flat
industry
stick.
and we're
Oh,
trying to
Dad,
make
come on,
money
get that better.
and perhaps make a
Start
name
reading
for
road
ourselves, we
signs
lose
to me and the
that
likes. Right, take a
sensitivity to our
station
bodies.
each,
We lose
please,
that awareness
children.
to when
We're
we're
going to
actually
have
in trouble
sweeping
physically.
here,
It's time to
okay?
go and see a
The
chiropractor, time to
sweeping.
get some
Greg's
physio.
going to be on
Maybe
the
look at
clock.
our
We've got
techniques
1
and
minute.
the way that
1
we're
minute.
operating, because if
You're right,
people
John.
are working well and they're
Yep,
they're
we've got
making
1
money
minute
and-
to do
and
what
they
you're going
can
to
feel
do.
the growth
Find out
in
what you're
their
going to do at
skill
your
set,
station.
then
Okay.
then they'll look after themselves.
We've
It
got a
creates
wool
very
table
positive
here. I think some of these
atmosphere
kids are
and
going to be
environment for
chucking
everyone to work,
fleeces.
and they want to be
They're
there.
nice tied together fleeces like we call a cot.
Breaks and
Okay.
recovery time.
Then we've got a press
absolutely
over
key
here and
and
heaps
vital
of
if you
wool.
want to stay
That might be a
performing
wee
at the
bit
top of your game in the
self-explanatory, I
shed. If we
think.
compare shearing
Oh,
and so forth
fair
to
idea,
competitive
Gerald. I
rugby
think
or
that wool
competitive
press is
netball,
going to have to
and
get
you think
filled
about
up.
how those
We've
guys
got
perform,
60
they're not
seconds.
at a high intensity training every single day.
Right,
they
Greg,
factor
how are you
in
going with your
break
clock?
times, low level training, and definitely some
So we're
recovery
going to have 3
time.
grades.
So
Okay, we're going to have a, this is a junior. Then we're going to have an intermediate. Then we're going to have a senior grade. We've had tremendous entries in all the novice grades here at the Golden Shears, and we keep saying that is the future. But this is showing the interest of juniors getting the idea. Oh, to Romana Rimini, are you out there? Yep.
Could we break in there, Gerald, please?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you like to welcome our blade shearers, please, to the board? On stand number 5 from Carterton, Art Eastman.
Stand 4 from Geraldine in South Canterbury, Ellen Oldfield.
Oamaru's Peter Cassidy on the 3rd stand.
All the way from Australia, Nikki Cutler on stand number 2.
And then we got our Japanese contestant, Shun Oshi. Give them a big welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as they come up onto the stage.
So Alex Butler or Alex Butter, can you come to the announcer's desk, please, Alex? Just come up to the announcer's desk, please. Bring your singlet with you, mate. Thank you. So Shun Oishi, Nikki Cutler, Peter Cassidy, Ellen Oldfield and Art Eastham, the line-up for heat number 1 of the blades. 2 heats of blades here, John, so they're having a couple of rounds, of course, today and tomorrow.
got to get a start and get warmed up and get used to the sheep up here. As I say, the sheep are supplied by White Spur, so while it'll be nice and quiet up here on the stage, there'll be plenty of noise going on down the back when they kick those children into action. But it's just a wee bit of work on Peter Castley's blades here. 3 sheep to shear. It's going to take a little bit of time and it'll be quite eerie.
You'd think he would have done his homework before he got up there, but anyway, he was never very good at homework, Peter Castley, unfortunately. Wandering around shaking everyone's hand. So we have the thumbs up from the timekeeper's desk. We'll just get Sean back out on the board, please, and Art, and we can set them alight. Get him out there, Francie. Sean Noishi. He's a blade shearer, a machine shearer, a wool handler, he's a wool presser, he's everything, that wee fella. And we have the thumbs up from their marshal as well. So let's get going, guys. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. Away we go with heat number 1 of the blades, round 1. So we're going to see these competitors again in another round tomorrow. But Sean out on the board. Nikki Cutler from Australia. This girl, very, very good machine shearer as well. So she's wanting to have a crack on the blade. She's been doing a bit of training and doing a bit of shearing in Australia as well. Peter Castley, he's a blade shearer of the old school type. He was a bit of a legend in the industry. He's a blade shearer among other things like beer drinker and mischief maker and old age pensioner and different things.
Hey, don't knock that.
Alan Oldfield, he is the current world blade shearing champion there on stand number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Won the world blade shearing individual title and, along with Tony Dobbs, won the team blade shearing title in France, in Le Drat in France, at the last world champs. So you're looking at the current world champion there on stand number 4. Art Eastham from Carterton. Not a lot of North Island blade shearers, but Art is one of them, John.
Well, he's an experienced character, and he was up here shearing in the Evergreens earlier in the afternoon, and he made a good fist of it as well. A little bit different style, as you see. They move around their sheep rather than move the sheep around themselves, because they're not limited to any space on the board bar within striking distance of their porthole. So they were working away. A little bit of a different style there as Artie's doing things back to front. He's showing the crowd on the far stands how it should be done, and let's hope he just keeps it out of those little veins up as he goes up the neck. Very sharp, these tools that these people are using now. Extremely great use of the left hand. You watch the experience of Peter Castley. Look here, he's just lifting the wool, making sure that it's not all bunched up on the skin so he can get in nice and close to it, and he's shearing it around the sheep. So in theory, if it rains heavily, the water will run straight down the gutter instead of having to go over lumps as in a machine shear, isn't it right?
That's right, and of course the blades don't remove the grease from the wool like the machines do. So light rain, it just runs straight off. The grease is all still in the wool, so just runs straight off. Peter Castley, way up the long blow. Peter Castley, world record holder on the blades, sure 350 something. He will probably give me a clip round there later on because I don't know exactly how many he did, but was always a terrific blade shearer. Won a lot of competitions around the world, country and world, and did a whole lot for the blade shearing. And then he was a very popular publican in America, and he made the most of all that fame. People have come to see him and buy beer off him.
Oh,
Very
well,
good.
You got to use your talents, don't you?
Thanks there, John. Right, round 2. We've done round 1. We got that underway. Off Norm's go. We're firing into it. Rightio, juniors. On your marks, get set, go for round 2. Here we go. You're getting the idea. I'll come back to the commentators at the shearing desk in a minute. So we're going to sweep some wool over here. That's that young fella. Get that rural feeling. This is where it all starts, getting the urban and rural, join up sort of thing. We're chucking some fleeces over here, and we've got to get some wool into this, some big fadge. That's a big task for this young fella. That's it. Grab some really big handfuls. Be full of economics. This young fella on the broom. So plenty of action here. We've only got a minute. Back to you, John and Norm.
Thanks, Gerald. She's all go down there, mate. I'm glad you're down there. There's no way I'd keep up. All those kids getting stuck into it down there, and we've got a lot of big kids up here on the board. Shun Ushi from Japan, this wee fella, on stand number 1, living and Shearing out in New Zealand, but he's under the front leg. He just lifts, slides the blade under the fribs, under the leg, just closes the blades up, and it just snips it off. Very, very sharp, but a lot of work goes into these blades. And Nikki Cutler from Australia. I don't know too much about the blade shearing scene in Australia, but I do know that they shear a lot of studs over there in Aussie. I'm obviously not too worried about leaving the wool on to keep the cold weather from knocking them over, but they do shear a lot of studs over there with the blades. Pete Casserly dives in and out of the pen like a man half his age of about 45. Alan Oldfield, the current world champion, just working his way around into first front shoulder. Art Eastham chops his way up the backbone, John, and on stand. Ooh, that sheep's not sure about this left-handed deal, but away he goes, or right-handed, but the sheep looks left-handed. He's going back to front to everyone else.
Well, as I say, he's just looking to show in the crowd on the far side. You see how the sheep are just sitting there now for these competitors. Dare I say, I don't want to put the spooks on them, but they are very relaxed. They're not getting a little bit of tickle up with the heat of the comb and cutter as in the machine shearing. And just a gentle slice of the blade staying above the skin by at least probably 20 mils or more. Just gliding across the exterior of the sheep. And a very quiet sound. You need to start whistling if you're going to work in a blade gang, or learn to sing, or do a lot of chatter, because it's very, very quiet. There goes Shuanashi into the pen now. He is multi-talented, this man, as we talked about before. He's in that triathlon, the 3 disciplines in the shearing game, wool handling and pressing. So he's now multi-talented again into the blade shearing. He's been around the Kiwi scene for a little bit, just can't keep him away. He's brought a few extra players over from Japan this year. They've come to the New Zealand summer and got out of the winter and enjoying the hospitality of the Kiwis. So he's blazing down the first off leg. Sheep are well prepared by crutches during the week. He's
right. Thank you, John. We'll just get this next heat going here. The same juniors, different stations. Okay, competitors, on your marks, set, go. Away you go, young fella. Get those bellies in the old 200-litre drum. 44-gallon once upon a time. Over here against the press. Oh, this young lass, she's pumping the wool into the... Oh, she knows what she's up to. She's knitting it all together. You've been watching the pressing today, I'd say, at some stage. You had plenty of time, because we pressed from the early this morning all the way through to when we had to knock off, and we're going to have to also have 2 events tomorrow, because we still run out of time, because we had such interest this year with the 60th year here at the Golden Shears. Oh, just about a 3-pointer, mate. Take another shot. Beautiful. That's how it's done. And this young fella's filling this fadge up. Get that wool from one spot to another. Oh, you got to go on to your second one. That's the man. Only 1 minute. Thank you, John and Norm.
Cheers, Gerald. So great to see Alan Oldfield just striding out in front as he steps through and up the neck on his 3rd and final sheep. There on stand 4, the current world blade shearing champion. You see the silver fern on his shearing jeans. He represented New Zealand with distinction in France. It's actually the first time, folks, that New Zealand has won both the individual and the blade and the team titles in history, folks. So, like I said earlier, Alan is the individual champion, and along with Tony Dobbs, they won the team championships as well. So fantastic effort from our 2 representative blade shearers. Peter Casserly chops his way out onto the hind leg, and just in finishing touches on sheep number 2. Nikki Cutler goes in for 2. Peter Casserly, he's showing us his best side there, ladies and gentlemen. As he works his way down and towards the porthole, he just flicked the wool out of the way, dropped the sheep out the hole. Peter's a real sheep shearing legend in the South Island, and
He's just got a bit shy as he finishes off the sheep, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't look that
Got
shy.
a lovely smile on though.
Yeah.
As he comes out and just finishing touches there. As we talked about New Zealand winning that the blade shear in France at the World Champs. Well, we've seen it here at the Golden Shears where the leading contenders have been South Africa for a number of seasons, and it is good to see that a bit of homegrown talent go across the other side of the world and come back with the gold and stuff. So that was awesome to see our two representatives. So up the long blow comes Alan Oldfield on his third and final sheep. He's making it look easy. He's got a bit of a gap on the field. We've got a change of steel now for Nikki Cutler, our Australian contestant. She's working away, not quite the power in her hands that some of the male competitors have got, but she has the style and has the goods to be able to make these hand shears clip and remove their wool without any damage to the sheep.
Thanks very much, John. I'll just jump in there. Rightio, next round. On your marks, get set, go. Okay, we've made a new station here. Once again, they got to experience lots of different little facets of a shearing shed. We've got the throwing of the fleeces on the table to get the little second cuts out, getting the feel of that. Then, of course, we've got the tidy-up job happening down here. We've got to shift a heap of wool. And then we've got a fadge holders here. This happens in the wool shed where oddments of wool will go in these fadges. So this is a behaviour that can happen in and around the wool sheds of New Zealand. Back to you, John and Norm.
Well, here we go back live on the stage. The big fellas have been shearing 3 of these sheep. Sean Oshie, he's got sheep number 2 almost completed. Alan Oldfield, he's coming around the long blow now on his third and final. The last shot's going in for Alan Oldfield as he comes across that last leg now. Turns his sheep, he's going to just drop it down the porthole and that'll be his number done. A young competitor from Australia, Nikki Cutler, will only be shearing the 2 animals. She's inexperienced as compared with their fellow men, Alan Oldfield, or fellow competitors from Geraldine there as he drops that one down the porthole in 11 minutes and a shade over. Peter Castley's not too far behind him from Oamaru, coming across the shoulder. Sean Oshie about to go in for sheep number 3. He'll be trying now. Can I peg back? Nikki Cutler is on a second sheep. She's on a final one though, and likewise down there on stand number 5. Art Eastman, a very experienced competitor from the Evergreens. Shaking, rattling and rolling as he's dropping into that first off shoulder. When the machine shearers are shearing that first off shoulder, they're facing into the wall. Here you have a first up opportunity to see how the blade shearer attacks it. Notice how he's going straight down the rib cage as opposed to going along it with the handpiece. Rocks into the big shots now, down towards the flank, about to drop it right low and go parallel with the sheep. There he goes, puts the big drives in up the long blow. Going pretty strongly there. Into the long blow now as the Australian counterpart, Nikki Cutler, laying it nice and flat, working hard, filling the blades up and then snipping it at the end with every shot. How many times do they squeeze that blade over a sheep, Norman?
As many times as it takes. Well done, Peter Castley.
I thought you actually saw 1 or 2.
Well done, Pete. Peter Castley all done and dusted. He can stand and have a yarn with Alan Oldfield. He can do what he does best, is have a yarn. And well done. It's great to see Peter here at the Golden Shears, especially this year, the 60th anniversary celebrations. Peter really is part of the very fabric of the high country of the South Island, ladies and gentlemen. So it's great to have him here in the Wairarapa. So up to Nick for Sean on his last sheep. Nikki and Art on their last sheep as well. They're just doing the 2. So down over the last front shoulder for down in the high country. Just a wee bit safer with the weather in the mountains can change in the blink of an eye. So he's was capable of, well over 200 a day. So that's getting up there. That's similar on the Merinos to what a machine shearer will do. But they can get around them. Don't you worry about that. They get to the middle of the season when their wrists are strong and they can fair chop around them. There's no doubt about that.
money-wise compared to the machine shearer, the pay rate?
Yeah, they get paid more per 100. I still think, you know, on average, the machine shearer might make a little more every day than the blade shearer, but wouldn't be a lot on it, so they do get paid more per head.
Well, it's a good art, and it obviously saves many lives of the animals up in the high country. And as Nikki Cutler comes down the last side, she's making it look easy. Got a great style, good attitude to the game, pretty relaxed about it. Shuanoshi comes over the last side now. Look at him just pumping away under that neck, making sure that he's not going too deep with his cutters. Rolls it down over the shoulder, across the top of the brisket, making it look hard but easy, as they say. And he's a very strong competitor in the shearing and wool handling pressing game. So Nikki Cutler just changes the position to that back leg a little bit. It was a little bit tucked up for her, and she couldn't quite get the blows to flow out. Got to keep that back leg nice and straight. Otherwise, there's a danger of injuring the animal across the hamstring, and once the sheep's had a little bit of a nick on the hamstring, it takes a little bit of recovery time. Art Eastman there, about to drop his sheep down the porthole. He's the veteran and one of the veterans in the event. Good shear, Artie. Well done with the blades down there on 5. And there goes Nikki Cutler right in behind him on the second stand. Not too many shots for Sean as he comes over the last shoulder now. Just tidies up under that shoulder blade. Doesn't want any tassels hanging out there for the judges.
Thanks very much, John. I'll just get in there before he gets wrapped up. So thank you very much for those juniors that have just been and gone. Hope you enjoyed that. That was a really good effort. You've done really, really well. So the next heat of juniors is Taimana Carroll, please. Grab one of these stations. We've got one single name here, Blinks. Blinks, is there a Blinks out there? That's all I've got this stage, Blinks. Mickey Quirk, Eleanor Klitcher, Awanui Grace. Okay, if we have you 5 up here, please. Grab a station. You've got an idea what might happen. John, I'll let you bring your man home on the front stand.
Righto, we're back here live on the stage now. We're into it. Norm and I were just having a little bit of banter and got distracted, but Mr. Oshii from Japan, what a beautiful shear. He's going to get up and celebrate after this one, I'm sure. He's been bent over like a stable for 17 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. That is a pretty extreme effort. Going hammers and tongs and working that left hand, working the right hand with the blades. Not sure which one is the tireder, but the left hand does an extremely strong amount of work, holding the sheep, pulling the skin out of the road, lifting the wool. A round of applause for Sean Oshii. Oh, he says, don't step up to the judge, because crikey, he still had the blades open. Awesome competitors. If you move off to the right-hand sides, Norm will bring on our next lot.
So well done, competitors. Heat number 2 in the blades on stand number 4. We're going to have Katy Reed all the way from Scotland.
And we'll have Phil Oldfield from Geraldine.
And from Okuku in Canterbury, we're going to have Isaac Duckmanton.
And then a little bit of international flavour, Alan Grant from Scotland.
Very good. Okay, heat 2's ready to go. You're ready, competitors? On your marks. Get set, go. You got 1 minute. Go fast. You've been able to see what the deal is. That's it, darling. Get those. Take a wee bit closer. Do what's known as a dunk. Okay. Don't worry about the 3-pointers. Just go for the dunks. This young fella here, he's getting the wool all sorted up. That's it. Don't be frightened to use some of your limbs, mate. Get those jimmies of yours, those New Balance shoes going. Get into that. Taimana, look at him go. That's it, knit it together, young fella. Oh, what a great handful that is. That's how you get the work done, eh? That's it, take a big breath. Good work. How's the wool table going? Blinks. Oh, we found Blinks. Here she is. She's even got her name on the back of her shirt. She's got that Cotty one up there, out of the way.
It looks like they've come to a bit of a hold down there. Just to look at the scoring here for the Johnson Brothers Blade Shear round 1, you can see there's very high time points. That's calculated at 3 points per minute, so that's pretty severe. The board points are pretty much the same as the machine shearers. That's the second column. The third column, judging outside, it's a wee bit higher again than the machine shearers. Consequently, we ended up with some quite large points at the end. And those yellow figures in column number 4, that'll be how they end up in round 1. So at the moment in front is Alan Oldfield on a 49.251. In page number 20 in the book, you'll get to a little bit of an explanation of the scoring system for all the competitions that are run here at Golden Shears. Looks like we're ready to start, are we? No, not quite. Still got a couple of blue figures up there. The judging down the back has been judged by a separate number of judges. Just reminding that those figures on stands 2 and 5 will only be over 2 sheep. So that's why our yellow figures will probably not be coagulating.
Coagulating? Is that the right word?
No, I don't think it's quite right, is it?
Doesn't matter, sounds good.
Collating, isn't it?
Sounds good anyway, John.
Well, you've got to make one mistake a day, don't you? Otherwise you don't learn.
I didn't think you'd make mistakes, John boy.
I must have gone past my peak and I'm going down the hill.
I heard you've only ever been wrong once in your life. That's when you thought you were wrong, but you weren't.
Yeah, something like that. Here we go.
So just waiting for the thumbs up from upstairs and we'll set these guys alight.
We're still working away in the pressing area down there, Gerald, the fleeces. Some of those fleeces that they're tossing onto the table are pretty stern, aren't they?
Yeah, they're well hand-picked fleeces, these. What's your term? The correct term for these would be what you call cots. And that means that they're sort of very tight, like a mat, real tight, like a tiger rug in a way. And they're really getting too busy on them. It's just a matter of getting them up on those tables. And they're doing that 2 at a time. They're saying, come on, wool away. Clear that table. We've got more coming in.
Thanks, Gerald. We have the thumbs up from upstairs. Let's get these guys into it, eh? Alan Grant, Isaac Duckman, Phil Oldfield, Katy Reed. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. And away we go this time. Heat number 2 of the blades. And a real international flavour. They're all from overseas, these shearers. 2 from Scotland and 2 from the South Island. Alan Grant, the Scotsman, on stand number 1, chops his way into the first hind leg. Isaac Duckmanton, Phil Oldfield and Katy Reed. They're all machine shearers as well as blade shearers, these competitors. Great to see them competing in both disciplines here at the Golden Shears. Isaac through and up the neck already. Phil Oldfield chasing hard. Katy Reed chasing hard. Isaac Duckmanton, strong contender here today. Chops his way up and across the side of the face, in front of the ear, just keeping an eye on where the tips of the blades are on that ear is.
Yeah, well, they're out in front by about 200 mils from your hand, aren't they? So you've got to be mindful of that. Whereas a normal shearing comb is only about 110 wide and maybe 90 deep, and it's not far from the end of your hand at all, is it? So you've got a lot more control.
That's right, yeah. And all it takes is a flick of an ear, a move of the head. Oh.
As long as it all ends well, we'll be sure we're going to enjoy this demonstration and competition of blade shearing in New Zealand. And beautiful sheep here supplied by our White Spurs property in the Masterton area. once again, and we do appreciate the effort that the shepherds and the managers and owners go through to supply sheep for the Golden Shears. A lot of work goes in. I was just out the back there earlier on and watching the truckies bring the sheep in. A couple of different lines, no drama. That pen and this pen and that pen go together, and then the rest all go in one mob. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 different lines on the truck, and they've all got to come off in order, and they're doing a marvellous job, and they're probably one of the most important people in the running of this competition to get the sheep here on time. A little bit lucky with the weather today, it's been quite useful and makes the job a little bit easier. But here we go, turning for home now. Looks like we've got Phil Oldfield, the father of the previous Oldfield on the board, coming across the shoulder on the last side. Right there is Isaac Duckmanton. Alan Grant from Scotland, a bit of a Scottish Kiwi here. He's been hovering around the Masterton area for a number of years. Always here at the Golden Shears. Katy Reed, loving it. Look at the big strong arms of this lady. Up the long blow she punches, straight back, pulling the sheep in hard against the left leg there as she goes round the back of the head in that sweeping shot on the long blow. Doing a more traditional style, the way she's prepared the sheep to let it sit for us and show us off. You watch Duck Mountain come down the last side. He's already starting to swing around for the porthole. He's going to drop that sheep forward down the porthole. Getting chased hard there by Phil Oldfield. Working away. Who's it going to be to get the first drop? Alan Grant says, don't count me out. I'm a few back on this one, but my second one might go faster. So he's actually trailing the field at the moment. So Katy Reed, the Scotch lass down the far end, comes across the money side of the sheep. I think it might be pretty close. Phil Oldfield might get the drop on this one. He's working hard out that last leg. Isaac says, no way, I'm not going to duck under you. I'm going to get right over top of you. Duck Manton finishing touches and gets him by maybe a whisker. No, Alan's sheep's down the porthole. Phil's sheep's down the porthole first as Alan Grant comes across the last side. This Katy Reed, though, she's going pretty strong down the far end there, Norman.
Yeah, she's not a bad blade shearer, that's for sure. She's good on the machines as well as Katy. And down she chops, right round across the side of the rib cage. Just a couple of blows out in front of Alan. There's the other two boys, these professional blade shearers in the middle. Isaac Duckmanton and Phil Oldfield work their way down the first hind leg. Isaac through and up the neck. And Gerald, what have we got going on down there with you guys?
Yeah, we're ready to go. Thanks, Norman. Right, next round. Hold. On your marks. Get set. Go. Here we go.
So just run us through quickly, Gerald, what's going on each of those stations down there with those kids? What are they trying to achieve?
Yeah, we're trying to, mingle the old urban with the rural. That's a good way. And then here we go in the shed. So we've got Awanui Grace just here. She's shifting wool, one lot of wool to another place. Very similar to like a big pile of, what do you call them, oddments. And we're going to do a bit of a tidy up at the end of the day. And we've got to get all that wool. And we've got to get it over here and get it sorted. Meanwhile, over here, Blinks has said, holy smoke. Awanui's shifting the wool that quick. I've got to get it across to her as best I can with the broom in hand. Eleanor, he's here. He's doing some three-pointers. Look at this man go. He says, by jolly, you get a bit of your press filled up as fast as you can. It's all go. Taimana, he's here on the table. You see, he's got these nice cotty fleeces. And, we've only got a minute. How did you go, Taimana? How'd you go, buddy? Good. Good man. How did you get up there, do you think? Are you in double figures?
Yes.
Yeah, I reckon you're well in the 20s. And over here we had, who we have here? Mickey Quirk. Hey, Mickey, how'd you go? How'd you get my... Holy smoke, mate. Just about filled that whole bin up. Yeah, so plenty of action going on down here. We were duplicating in a minor form or a smaller form what would normally happen in a larger scale in a 6-stand wool shed.
Little do they know that you're actually trying to suck them into the shearing industry and get them to work to help us out when we're short of staff in a few years' time. Good stuff. Back to the board live now. Isaac Duck Mountain comes across the lower shoulder, lifts it up. He's got away a little bit from Phil Oldfield now as he works under the shoulder, down and out to the flank. Good strong arm, strong wrist on these competitors. And got to have a strong back and a weak head. Pretty much the same for machine shearing, but you've got to be able to put it all together. So you need the top 2 inches to be working for you. Into the long blow goes Katy Reed. As I said before, she's shearing it more like machine style, the way she lays the sheep about the board. Once again, they've got full control of these sheep. I don't want to put the mockers on them, but they are just laying these sheep nice and flat. The sheep are not moving, they're not panicking. And it is quite a reasonable time, but it took us 17 minutes in that last one, and we got 7 minutes gone so far. So we haven't had a bit of a kick and buck for them sheep so far, as sheep number 3's on the board for Isaac. Phil Oldfield's about 3 shots away as he comes over that rump, coming right from the middle of the back and out that last leg, just drops the sheep down a little bit, and he squats down so that wool comes up to meet him. Pretty hard to get the blades to turn across and run across the floor. You don't want to damage them. He steps in now.
Good. Sorry, thanks, John. Right, we'll just get this. This is our last and final round of these juniors, and we'll get you underway. You've got 1 minute to do your last station, okay? Right, on your marks. Get set. Go. Right, give it everything you got. Have you got any petrol left in your station? Holy smoke. Eleanor's he's just going for it. He's getting that table busy. The 2 assistants are flat stick trying to get the cot fleeces back. Taimana, here he is. He's loading up the press. That's the idea, young fella. Keep chucking it in there until it starts coming out at you. And Blinks is doing a few 3-pointers. Come on, Blinks, I hear. Give it everything you got. You're probably down to the last 20 seconds now. Let's stay here until we hear the last whistle, and we'll give them a super round of applause, because this is their very last station. They've been right round and had a little go at what it might be like at a big shearing shed. Keep on throwing those 3-pointers, Blinks. Awanui Grace, that's it. Use your feet. That's it. Use your shoe. Give it a kick if you want. That's it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give them a super round of applause. That's the last heat of the juniors. We've had 2 of them. Thank you very much, Norm and John.
Thank you, Gerald, and well done all you kids down there. Awesome stuff, and all the judges, of course. Thank you very much. So up on the shearing board, Isaac Duckmanton down the last side on sheep number 3. He works his way round across the last front shoulder. The nearest to him is Alan Oldfield from Geraldine on stand 3, and he works his way into the first front shoulder. Chop across the side of the rib cage. A lot of wool comes off in these few blows, and then they lie it down. Wee bit different to the machines, where they lie it down a bit sooner. The idea with the blades is to keep the sheep all crunched up, so you're minimising the surface area you've got to cover, whereas with the machines we want to stretch them out, and just gives us the ability to keep the comb right down on the skin. Blades are a bit different, so up their backbone now, there's only a couple of blows up the backbone, and then they turn for home. Isaac Duckman know from a cuckoo on stand number 2, right out onto the hind leg, so he's leading the field home. Katy Reed in for sheep number 3. She's still shearing strongly. Just the first hind leg behind Ellen Grant. And Isaac Duckmanton chops his way out onto the hind leg. Wool's coming off in fine fashion. Another blow, and he's going to be looking to get that one out the porthole. And the time clock has stopped.
10 minutes and 38, Norm. That's pretty sharp.
Yeah, that's good. So Alan was around just a fraction over 11, wasn't he? So
that's right. So
wee bit quicker.
They're doing the job right, and say a little bit of pace, and he went for the doctor. Kept his score reasonably low. You can see the board points are at 5.7, and the outside points on the sheep are judged an average of 10 strokes outside. So that's a pretty good low score. Time points were well in his favour. As he comes out the last leg now is Phil Oldfield from Geraldine. Experienced hand, but he's gritting his teeth a bit at the moment, because when you're shearing under this pressure, it adds a lot to the game.
Rightio, we'll just get this next one up here. It's the intermediate. We've got two heats of the intermediate. Okay, so ages 11 to 12 here. So Kaylee, can you come up, please? Bridie King, can you come up, please? Holly Didsbury, Bobby G, Ryan Pearson. Okay, you make your way up here, take a station. First in, first served as a station. If you want to start over there, be quick. Okay, don't go mucking around. Right, back to Norm and John till start time.
Thanks, Gerald. So we've just seen Phil Oldfield drop a sheep out the porthole. Just a fraction, just around that 12-minute mark. So Phil's all done and dusted. Just Ellen and Katy left on the board. Ellen Grant down over the last front shoulder. Katy Reed chasing hard. She's working her way into the first front shoulder. Both of Scottish origin, these two competition shearers. Both machine shearers and blade shearers. And last side for Alan Grant as he works his way around under the leg. Fribs will come off on the inside of the leg, underneath the leg, and then he can drop across the side of the rib cage. Once again, on the machines, the blows tend to go straight up and down, or straight down the side of the sheep, straight down the rib cage and out onto the leg, whereas the blades, they go round and round. Same reason, they just crunch the sheep up a bit, just to keep the surface area to a minimum. Katy Reed, way through the long blow. She steps across with the right leg. Chops up the backbone of the sheep, but Alan Grant right out onto the hind leg. Another few blows. Big, steady, full blade chops from Alan Grant. And time clock has stopped on stand one. Well done, Ellen. And Katy, John up the backbone of the sheep.
Yeah, she just had a wee bit of a rest there as she was halfway through that long blow. Things were starting to feel it in the fingers, maybe a little bit of cramping. As she's trying to drive those set of blades towards the finish. Takes the cheek off the sheep now, or the wool off the cheek. Moves down to lift it, sort of lifts the sheep up a little bit with every blow she puts in, gets it drawn back so she can hold the sheep with the knees. Turns the head, the nose forward. That's always important in any shearing competition, especially with machine shear. The longer you can keep that nose pointing forward, the more chance you got of having the sheep stay up high on your legs.
Just calling out for someone, John. Patrick Quirk. Patrick Quirk, we're going to put you in this heat of Gladstone School. Patrick Quirk, you dot about, mate? Come down to this station here. You're on the sweep station. Patrick Quirk. Yep, he is here. Good. Okay, back to you, John. Thanks.
Righto, we're coming under the leg now. A little bit of dirtier wool there. She just needs to tidy up. The sheep have been laying around a little bit of dry grass and a bit of dirt and dust has got up, and it takes the edge off the blades as she works down the last side. Does Katy Reed, the Scots lass. She won't be going home tonight to do any needlework, I can tell you that. She'll be having a beer after this one. She rocks out that last leg. A good display from our female competitors. Been a great number of competitors here of the female variety this year. Absolutely great to see they have good skills, good workmanship, and they're doing themselves proud up here on stage at the Golden Shears for the 60th time.
Right, I'll just jump in there. Okay, this is the intermediate. On your marks, get set, go. Thanks, John.
So just a few shots left in this one, ladies and gentlemen. They'll be back for another round tomorrow. But we're just letting them have a go. The next round will be tomorrow morning. So they're going to sleep on it and just do a little bit of muscle training overnight just to loosen up a little bit. Katy Reed from Scotland. Ladies and gentlemen, finishing touches, just lifts that wool with the left hand. She comes out over the rump. The wool will be hanging down. She needs just to take a little bit of drop out of it so she can get the tip of the blade through and entered. And there, a round of applause for Katy Reed. She hits the stop button. Made sure she puts her blades safely away before she double handles that sheet.
Very good. Hey, Patrick Quirk, we've brought him forward and look at him go. He's getting that wool swept. Oh, mover station. How'd you go, Ryan? Did you get a few 3-pointers?
Mm-hmm.
How many's a few?
I don't know.
10 or a dozen?
I don't know.
You don't know, you weren't counting, you're just too busy doing the airtime shots. Good on you. Okay, you know the drill here, mate. You've got to get those fleeces on that table when I say go. You've got 1 minute. Count them if you can, do a bit of a multitasking.
So just moving into the speed shear this time, ladies and gentlemen. That's our blade shearing round number 1. And the Supreme Automotive Refinishes sponsored senior grade. 24 shearers looking for the top 8 for a semi-final and the top 4 for a final. Then we'll be into the New Zealand Wool Scouring Open speed shears. So Tom Wilson up there just getting that dropper up for us. He's pretty good at doing that as Tom. He's very used to having to put the droppers up again when they come on.